33 years. He was sinless, and he fulfilled the law and righteousness for us. So not only did he never do wrong, but he always did what was right on our behalf. And before last year, I knew that he was crucified. I'd seen like the Passion of the Christ. I understood what physically happened, but I didn't know where God was in that or how it pertained to me or anybody else. Christ was put on the cross by the Roman soldiers, but he was also put on the cross by the will of God. Isaiah 53 says that he was crushed for our iniquities. On the cross, Jesus bore the wrath of God for us. Not only the physical pain he had to go through, but he became sin for us. 2 Corinthians 5:21 says, "For our sake he made him to be sin who knew no sin, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God." Jesus was the only one that could have done this. Anybody else on the cross would have been paying for their own sin. We all deserve that. But he didn't, so he could do it in our place. After 3 days, he rose again, which tells us that he meant what he said. He wasn't just a prophet or a good teacher or a good guy that you can take a little bit of what he says and not all of it. He's God. It also shows us when he said it's finished, he meant it. That his perfect life and the death we deserve can be attributed to us, can be given to us in our account for our day. We can get what he deserved, eternal life with God. Before last year, as a kid, I was really rebellious. I had authority issues, put my parents through everything. Really, really awful. As a teenager, I got suspended a lot, I partied a lot, I smoked a lot of weed and drank a lot of alcohol, and at 15 started dating girls. By last year, at 22, I had outwardly kind of cleaned up. I knew I needed to have a good job, I knew I needed to be productive in society. So externally, I kind of was better. I still was dating women, just kind of in serial relationships, and I was still smoking weed every day. I got invited to a Bible study from my aunt, and I work with her, and my dad is our boss, and I didn't want to be that kid again, so I agreed to do it so that everybody at the office wouldn't be disappointed. And I went in saying, okay, well, as soon as I start going, they're going to bring up my lifestyle, and then I won't go anymore, and it'll be their fault. I agreed to go, they messed up. And that didn't happen. The book that we were reading ended up being a really good book. It was an attributes book, so it was talking about the holiness of God, and the sovereignty of God, and the goodness of God, and the justice of God. And it increased my view on God big time. He got a lot bigger, and I got a lot smaller. I remember a few nights before I got saved, I remember laying in bed and thinking to myself, are you sure this is you? And I was thinking about my identity in homosexuality. That was really what I had made more me than anything. Like I had short hair, rainbow belts, like I had someone's initials tattooed on me. Like I was very serious and very sincere in this lifestyle. As much as I was white and a girl, I was gay, and those were all as real. But I was experiencing some conviction for the first time and asking myself, are you sure this is really you? Is this fixed? Is this going anywhere? Is this because of anything else? And then would wake up the next day and laugh at myself and be like, you're gay. And kind of push myself into texting the people I was texting and continuing to walk like I was. April the 9th of last year, I got off work, I came home, my friends were waiting, as always, at my apartment. We smoked weed, and I started thinking some more. And I looked over to my friend Chelsea, who's also